Marhaba, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to this Arabic class. In today's video, we're going to be answering one of the most commonly asked questions by beginner students and students just starting their journey in spoken Arabic. And that question is, why do we see numbers next to English letters when Arabs are chatting or texting or trying to explain something in Arabic? Why do we see a 2 next to an I or a 3 in the middle of the sentence or a 5 or a 7 next to English letters? This is one of the most, like I said, one of the questions that just baffles beginners. And they're like, what is this? Is this some sort of secret code? Short answer, kind of. And that's what we're gonna go through in this video. Before we jump in, make sure to subscribe if you haven't, please. This helps me a lot. And make sure to check out the Instagram page for daily content on, grammar tips and tricks, pronunciation tips as well. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. Okay, so what exactly does it mean when I see a 2 or a 3 or a 5 or a 7 in the middle of or the beginning of English words, but then you read the whole thing, you're like, what is this? This is not making any sense. So short answer, it's not really a secret code. It's basically a transliteration method. And transliteration is basically writing words of a specific language using a different alphabet. So we're writing an Arabic word using the English alphabet. When I say the alphabet means a set of letters that makes up the script of a language. So we're basically using English letters to create an Arabic word. And this became popular for two main reasons. So when chatting was becoming popular and texting, or when cell phones first came out, right? There wasn't a keyboard for every language out there. English was the main, the most accessible keyboard. There was not Arabic, or to my knowledge, there definitely wasn't back in the day, wasn't very accessible to have like Arabic keyboards like it is today. Back in the day, it was English keyboards, right? And English letters. So, Arabic speakers still wanted a way to communicate in Arabic, but there wasn't Arabic letters. So what we did was we kind of started using numbers. So we would type in English, but for the letters that weren't represented in the English alphabet, we would use numbers to represent those letters. So for example, as you guys know, or you can probably guess by the different sounds that you hear in Arabic when Arabs talk, you have the a, you have the kha, you have the qa. There's a few letters that don't exist in English. So in order for us to express those, we would use numbers that kind of look like these letters. For example, the 3 looks like the letter ain, which makes the a sound. So it's just an inverted 3. The 3, is an inverted ain, right, in a way. So we use the 3 to represent the ain. Similarly, the 7 kind of looks like the ha when you look at the ha. So we'll use the 7 in words that include a ha, because the letter ha, which is the same sound that comes out when you clear your throat, that ha. It's not an H, it's a ha sound. There's no equivalent in English, right? So we'll, instead of writing an H, because we actually have an H in Arabic, there's a ha sound. It's different than ha. So not to overcomplicate this, in the most simplified way, the letters that don't exist in English will use numbers that look like these letters in Arabic to represent them. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to show you guys a few examples so you can kind of see these words in action. And then obviously if you have any questions, you can link me in the comment section or on the Instagram page. All right, let's jump in. Okay, so let's take a look at a few examples together with, so starting off with the number 3. I feel like this is one of the more common ones. So the 3 looks like an inverted ain. This is the letter ain, it makes the a sound, right? A. So when I add this to a word, I'm basically telling the reader, like, say a. So in this case, Ali, the name, is represented by the 3 here, and Ali is spelled out like this. Obviously, for learners that don't know script, this is highly effective in learning how to speak, because I'm able to show, like, my students, and this has become very, very common it has become a common teaching method for learners that just want to be able to converse and speak without having to first invest the time in reading and writing and learning the script and all that. This has become very popular, so that's one thing. And then with chatting and texting, so Ali, or a word like ala, which means on, ala, the preposition on. And then we have going to the number 2. Number 2 basically represents this letter over here. This is called a hamze, and it makes a sound. So similar to the letter A. So in English, we'll have 2 pronunciations of A, the way I like to put it. So you have A at the beginning of the word and A, for example, the middle. A at the beginning, there's a stop, like the letter, like the word apple. So the A there is apple. But a word like hat, it's more of a continuous A sound, right? Like hat. I'm not saying hat, like apple. I'm saying hat, right? It's continuous. Now, this mini letter over here is closer to the A in apple, like apple. I'm stopping a little bit. The only difference is in Arabic, you can have the A sound from apple in the beginning of the word, in the middle of the word, and also at the end of a word. So this is the part we're not used to in English, but technically we're able to make that sound because we say apple and we say hat or bat or cat. I'm not saying cat. So the a sound from apple, I'm basically incorporating it in here, So a word like question, a word like su'al, which means question. I'm not saying su'al, I'm saying su'al. This is represented by the stoppage here. So this is why I kind of need this, because otherwise if I just have an A, readers are just going to read it as su'al, right? The 2 gives me that indication that stop, su'al. Okay, moving on. So there's others. Sometimes, people do things like apostrophe 3 because the ain, this is the letter ghain, so a gha sound similar to the French R, like in bonjour, you have the gha. So this is the ghain, represented by GH also. I would just use a GH, to be honest, but some people use this 3 over here, 3 and apostrophe to mean ghain, because it's the same as ain in Arabic, just with a dot on top, if you guys can see this. So a word like ghali, which means expensive, you would use this. I wouldn't say this is one of the less common ones. Like, I wouldn't say this is common. I would say the 2, the 3, and the 7 are the most common. The 7 looks like this guy, the ha, like ham, the sound you make when you clear your throat, ha. This is represented by the 7. A word like tufaha. I'm not saying tufaha, and I couldn't really represent it by an H because we actually have a simplified H. We have that equivalent in Arabic. We have the letter H, ha. But this is not a ha. This is a ha. So a word like tufaha, I need to really tell the reader that there's a ha sound here, so I add the 7 to tell the reader that there's a ha, right? Similar to marhaba. Marhaba is hello. I'm sure a lot of you guys know this already. Marhaba, but we won't. You do see it with an H sometimes, but if you want to be more proper, and especially when you're from a teaching standpoint and pronunciation side, you want to tell the reader that it's actually a ha and not a ha, not an H sound. It's a ha sound. So marhaba. A few others are the 5. Kind of looks like the kha. So we'll use this with kha sounding words like khal, which means uncle from the mom's side. Khal. In Arabic, we have to specify like uncle from the mom's side, the dad's side, and same with cousins. We don't have a word for cousin. We have to go around this whole like family tree thing, describing. So it'd say like my cousin from my uncle's. The cousin in English is just cousin. Doesn't matter what side. In Arabic, you have to specify and say, for example, like ibn ammi would mean the son of my uncle, and the uncle is from my dad's side, because am is the uncle from the dad's side. I went on a mini tangent there, but I just wanted to point that out real quick. So khal is uncle from the mom's side, and this uses the word or the letter kha, right? And then finally we have the ta. I would say less common. People do use this, but with me, like I said, 2, 3, and 7, I would say the most common. The 5, the 5 here and there, but this sometimes represented by KH in English. I'm sure some of you guys have come across this as well, KH. The 6 kind of looks like a ta. The ta is a heavy T sound. So ta like tayyara, tayyara, which means plane, tayyara. Okay, so these are some of the basic ones, guys. I just wanted to point this out because I do get a lot of questions. Like, hey, what is this? Why is there a number here? Or if someone is, learning, again, spoken Arabic, they'll see this in their studies and they're like, what is this? What does this mean? Or they'll come across it. So I just wanted to kind of point this out. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. And like I said, make sure to subscribe and follow the Instagram page. And I'll see you in the next video.